Guys, we made it. We are here. We finally got to the end of our journey. Isn't that amazing? Give yourselves a pat on the back. We're here. And here's the truth is that, we've come to the end of our paradox journey. And today we're actually going to be looking at the finale, kind of the mic drop of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. And what we're going to read today is we're going to read from Matthew 7, starting in verse 24. And it says this. It says, "Everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock." Let's just stop right there real quick and think about this. The fact that the master carpenter is talking about something that has to do with building is kind of a cool thing. We have Jesus who is not only showing us a spiritual truth, but he's also bringing in his expertise in his field. And that's a pretty cool thing. He's showing his human side a little bit here. And so we continue on. It says, "And the rain fell and the floods came and the winds blew and beat on the house, but it did not fall because it had been founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain fell and the floods came and the winds blew and beat against the house and it fell, and great was the fall of it." Here's something that I want us to, if we could actually think about, if there was a word, I guess, that could sum up the word hear and do. If there was a word in the English dictionary that could sum those two words up, I believe that word would be called obedience. Obedience. And what Jesus is saying here is he's saying, I've given you all of this. Just like what we've gone through this journey. We've heard many different sermons, many different readings that we've read. And what we're seeing is that Jesus is showing us a way. And now he's asking us to do it. Not just hear it, but to do it. And that's obedience. And what Jesus wants us to do is be obedient. And the easiest way that I can make this kind of make sense for me, at least, is to look at it this way. I have 3 kids. They're knuckleheads. But each one of them, as we have raised them, have taught them this one thing. And they do it very, very well. Because we know this. We know that things are going to happen in their lives, but even the little things we can teach them in. And one of those things is stopping at a crosswalk. They run off and we yell, "Hey, stop." And they stop. And we show them, we look both ways before we cross the road. And the truth is that there's going to be times in our lives where we're not going to know when a storm's coming. We're not going to realize when something's happening. But obedience is when we say, we're going to listen to what God asked. And when the storms do come, it's similar to being at a crosswalk. There won't always be cars. But one day there will be. And we're looking forward to that. And going, "Kids, I don't want you to get ran over. So stop here, look both ways, and make sure that you know that there's a safe place to go." In the same way, I believe that's what Jesus is saying here. He's saying you can listen and you can do these things, and it's going to be a good life for you. Or you cannot follow these things. The storms will come. Things will happen. But what are you going to build your house on? What are you going to build your faith on? What are you going to build? What's your foundation? Is it the rock? Or is it the sand? And the truth is, at the end of all this, you hear it, but it's your choice to do it. Thank you.